All right, let's hit films and let's wrap this baby up here.
So
my first pick was Deadpool and Wolverine. I think everybody knows about this movie. I think this was the first Marvel movie in a while that really hit hard.
I think that I think this is the first one that probably hit financially, because I know Guardians 3 hit critically. I don't remember how well that one actually did, though.
I don't think it hit $1 billion, but it didn't do bad. It was okay.
But this is the one that they were looking for.
Yeah. So this is a great wrap up to the X-Men Fox universe. Although I say that, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a lot of X-Men characters coming up very soon, probably played by some people from those old Fox movies.
I doubt this is the last time that we've seen Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Gardner, and Channing Tatum. I think they're...
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if we will ever see the other Blade movie.
I really hope not, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like, I don't... We said this towards the beginning about how we think that James Gunn is handling DC, which is a creator comes to him with an idea, if it's a good enough idea, he'll work with them, and Mike Flanagan will get his Clayface movie. There's something that rubs me the wrong way about an actor coming in and saying, I want to play this character, but I'm also an Oscar award-winning actor, so I am the star. And that's how Mahershala Ali got Blade.
Yeah. But on the flip side, this movie, a lot of it's Ryan Reynolds that's doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And this is the final Deadpool movie, which I'm sure Deadpool will be appearing in other movies. But I don't know how those will hit if Ryan Reynolds is not the main creative force behind it. I'm sure he will get to write his scenes and stuff.
I'm sure it'll be kind of like how James Gunn got to write the Guardians in Infinity War.
Yeah. And then Hugh Jackman will be playing Wolverine at least through Secret Wars. He's going to be
till you're 90.
Till you're 90. But yeah, I thought this movie was a blast. A lot of fun.
I do think that this could also be the catalyst for the worst thing to happen to the MCU.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's a joke in this movie, but the people took it seriously. The idea of the anchor being is so stupid, and it's hilarious because of the meta-ness of it. Yeah. But then people are like, "Oh, who do you think the anchor being of this universe is? And who's the anchor being of this universe?" I'm like, you don't get the joke.
Yeah. There's that, and it's weird because you got this talking about anchor beings, and then you've got the Spider-Verse movies talking about the canon moments or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what they're called, but yeah.
I think it's canon moments, and so you got these weird. The rules in the MCU don't make sense. Like if you look at the rules in Infinity War, and then the rules in Loki, they do not make sense at all.
Oh, by the way, I did go back and rewatch the first season of Loki, and whenever Jonathan Majors shows up as He Who Remains, I'm like, I get how they could see this guy and think this could be our next Thanos. But the problem is they put him up against Ant-Man.
Yeah, they're weird choices, yeah. Man, if Ant-Man 3 had been Ant-Man versus the irredeemable Ant-Man,
that would have been cool.
It would have been a great movie, yeah. So I don't know. Weird choices, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I think everybody knows about this movie, so we will move on.
Inside Out 2. You and I have very similar experiences with the first Inside Out.
Yeah.
That one is a very personal film. Especially for people like us who moved around a lot. Inside Out 2, I think, is technically speaking a better film because it speaks more generally, like not everybody moves around a lot, so not everybody gets the plight of Riley in that first film.
Right.
In this one, Riley is just trying to make friends. While also going through puberty and getting these new emotions, which we all go through.
And middle school sucks.
Yes, it does.
So I've heard nothing but good things about this movie. I will probably check it out eventually.
Yeah. This one won't hurt you as much as Inside Out.
Inside Out 1 hurt.
But this one's great. And like I said, I think it's technically a better movie. I will probably always prefer Inside Out 1. Ironically, you and I take the pain of Inside Out 1 differently, which is weird because you'll never watch that film again, and I watch that movie at least once or twice a year.
Yeah.
This is one that everyone goes through, and Maya Hawke kills it as anxiety. Like she's
a great actress.
Yeah, and she steals the show, and there's a way that so spoilers, right during the climax, it's just anxiety in the control room, and Riley has a panic attack, and it's done really well.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. And then the way that all these new emotions decide to get along are very interesting. There was one that apparently they cut because they didn't know how to do it. They wanted to have guilt in here, and there was a meme going around. It's like, release the Catholic cut. So yeah, Inside Out 2, their other $1 billion movie this year, I think.
Yeah.
And it's oh my God, good movies that have come from Disney. What is happening?
Right. I wouldn't expect too many till Fantastic Four next year.
I don't even have faith in that one.
I'm holding out hope for Fantastic Four, but we will see. They've got the slate of movies coming out next year is Wolf.
Yeah.
Transformers 1 had the worst trailer I've ever seen. It was awful compared to what the actual movie is. Yes, the trailer made it look like a kid's movie with Bumblebee cracking jokes, and yes, Bumblebee does crack jokes, but he's kind of a background character, and like less than a fourth of the movie is Bumblebee doing stuff. So this is really a story about kind of the class warfare between the have-nots and the haves, and these are just two minor workers who are trying to make something of their lives be more than just workers in the Energon mines. And they kind of uncover this humongous conspiracy of what's really going on Cybertron. And it's a really good Transformers movie. Really, some really shocking scenes towards the end, really great fight scenes, really great voice cast. And you're kind of like, why is Chris Hemsworth Orion Pax? How's this going to be, Optimus Prime? And then there's kind of a transformation towards the end, and you're like, oh, I get it. And just seeing his friendship with D16, who later becomes Megatron, and how that falls apart, and the birth of Megatron is really good. This is a really great film, and killed by the marketing. Marketing destroyed this movie, and if you have any interest in Transformers, check this movie out.
I too like Zootopia. You just described Zootopia, dude.
A little bit. I can see the similarities, but this is I mean, this is really two friends and how a friendship falls apart and how they become worst enemies.
I too like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Okay.
No, so this is one that I'll get around to eventually. This is also one. I'm very harsh. Here's the thing. Remember how I said I'm very binary whenever it comes to like my opinions? I'm like I either really like something or I really don't. I'm very harsh with this movie because I'm like the marketing was so bad it deserves its failure.
Yeah, it was terrible marketing. Horrible marketing.
So it's
and it shouldn't have been.
Right, exactly. And like it's I get what you're getting at with the transformation. I think I've seen like a scene pop up in my recommendations, so I assume there's a chain. I assume his he goes through his own form of
robot puberty.
Maybe his voice gets a little deeper. I get what you're getting at. Chris, like the only thing worse would have been like to get Chris Pratt to voice Optimus Prime, just because he's like in everything. So like I think one of the big problems along with the marketing is just even if the cast did a good job, we're kind of in like a point where Chris Pratt's playing Mario for some reason, you know?
There are shocking, brutal scenes in this. Like, I can't believe they put this in a kids movie.
It's PG.
Quotes. Oh, it has to be at least PG. Yeah, you can look that up. Like, there's some brutal scenes, and you could leave this movie alone and say it's just a prequel to the cartoon show in the 80s, and I'd be fine with that. But I kind of want to see more. I want to see that Transformers 2. I want to see the next part.
Go ahead and spoil a little bit with this. Okay, so it is PG. Would go ahead and spoil it. Just like I don't care about it, and then we'll warn people about it, about spoilers and whatnot. Would the sequel take place on Cybertron?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not there yet.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, because the first episode of the old cartoon is them leaving Cybertron and getting shot down and putting stasis asleep on Earth. So you can tell more stories before we get to that point.
Okay.
The have you seen the old Transformers animated movie from 80?
Yeah.
Whatever. You know the Quintessons, the floating head guy stuff. They're kind of a big bad, but they don't really get to them this movie. So you could do another movie about them facing off against the Quintessons.
Is this like? Did you ever? Maybe you didn't play them, but like, are you familiar with the lore of like the War of Cybertron games? The Fall of Cybertron?
I never played them, but I'm a little familiar with it. Yeah.
Like, is it one of those things that like the last movie could kind of be like Transformers 3 could be like the destruction of Cyber? I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually not too familiar with like Transformers lore. Is Cybertron like Krypton? Does it get destroyed?
It loses all its power. And
so it's just floating rock.
Kind of, and so that's kind of why they leave Cybertron at the beginning of the cartoon. They're looking for energy. They find all the oil and stuff on our planet and start converting that into Energon. So it becomes a war over oil, basically. It was the 80s.
But then it turns out they didn't even have hamburgers.
Yeah.
They have hot dogs, but they only throw them at each other. Okay.
So this is it's a really good movie. It really there's another YouTube channel I watched called Previewed, and they advertise a different movie than this. We were not expecting this movie to be this good and to hit this hard. That trailer was for a totally different movie.
This reminds me of like a movie, like just based on what you're telling me. This is a movie that Siskel and Ebert would have loved, because like it just makes me think of Mask of the Phantasm, where they reviewed it and they're like, why is nobody seeing this one? Like, we didn't even know about this movie.
Exactly. When you watch it, you're like, oh, everybody should be watching this. Everybody should be talking about this. This should have been like the biggest toy line, biggest everything. And it just, I mean, it's a crowded movie market, but this movie hits hard.
Was this nominated for animation?
I don't know.
Well, actually, I don't think
I don't think so. There's a movie that I've been wanting to see,
Wild Robot.
Wild Robot, that I did not get to
Yeah.
see. I'm sure it would be like number one on my list if I had saw it.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if the Oscar noms have come out yet.
No, no.
The short. If you want to talk
It'll
about
be
it,
announced on Friday, January 17th. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I want to see if it's at least on the short list.
I don't think. I mean, obviously Inside Out 2 or Wild Robot is probably going to win Best Animation.
I think Wild Robot did win the Golden Globe, actually.
Yeah. Wild Robot is going to be really hard to beat.
Let me just take a look at that real quick.
Yeah.
But
really good voice cast. You got Brian Tyree Henry, Keegan Michael Key, Scarlett Johansson, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Fishburne.
It's insane because you're just like, this is an Avengers movie.
Yeah, John Hamm is in it.
John Hamm's John Hamm.
You know, it has a pod race in it, a much better pod race. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So Golden Globes haven't even happened yet. But it was not nominated.
Yeah, like I said, people slept on this.
I will say that I'm offended that them splicing together 4 episodes from a pilot of a Moana cartoon
got nominated.
Yeah. I've told people that and they're like, what? I was like, yeah, that they made no money this year, so they're splicing 4 episodes together.
They had to get something that would get butts and seats to make some of their money back because they lost so much money.
Yeah, it's like they're like, well, when else have they done that? I'm like, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Return of Jafar.
I'll say some of those Aladdin movies.
Yeah, both of those because Return of Jafar was the pilot and Prince of Thieves was the finale.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
all right. So what's your movie?
For me, my last runner-up is Furiosa.
I have not seen this. I need to see it.
Did you see Fury Road?
Yeah, I've seen Fury
Road. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is
mainly because of the guy playing the guitar, but
he's in this.
Is he?
He's in this.
Oh, then I have to see this.
You know what? Speaking of Chris Hemsworth, he kills it in this movie because he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Bad Times at the El Royale? Mm-hmm. Oh, he plays bad guy in that one as well. I have to show you that one sometime.
Okay.
So whenever this came out and it was like Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, I'm like, that's a dumb name. Like, I thought that Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was a dumb name, you know? So like a Mad Max saga, what are you talking about? I get it. This is a saga because it basically starts with Furiosa as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Anya Taylor-Joy is top billing. She doesn't show up for an hour because we're with her as a child for an hour.
Gotcha.
Like it is, and that's not a complaint. Like
no,
it's really good. There's a character that's like obviously a Mad Max stand-in that she falls in love with.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of want to go back and watch Fury Road to see if that was there at all. Like if she felt anything for Max because of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of shows how she becomes an interceptor because of the way that Immortan Joe's thing works. Like a female interceptor would not jive because Immortan Joe uses women for 2 other things,
right?
And so Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic in this. So you remember how so she has like a robot arm?
Yeah.
They show everything.
Gotcha.
With how she loses her arm, and it's fantastic. This is just a great movie.
I think this had 2 big strikes against it.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted Mad Max,
mm-hmm.
and they got Furiosa instead. and then visually it looks like it's Fury Road again.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
I think so. I think those were two big strikes against this that kept people.
Yeah. Which the first one I get, the second one I actually don't understand because like people love Fury Road. So
yeah,
like,
but it's kind of like, I've seen this movie. You know, kind of that mentality. So
yeah,
I get it. I get why it didn't succeed, but
if you haven't seen it, it is fantastic. And Anya Taylor-Joy continues to be the weirdest looking hot person I've ever seen.
Yeah. Her and the girl that plays Jinx, the one that's in Fallout that has the big eyes.
Elle Purnell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Which is funny because that's kind of how Jinx comes across.
Yeah.
So finally, best in film.
Yeah, go ahead and take the spoilers off the screen.
Best in film for both of us. And I don't think this is like if you've been keeping up, I don't think either of these is a surprise for us.
Yeah, I left Dune off my list. Again, not a bad movie. I think I'm just kind of burnt out on Dune right now. I read like 5 of the novels, and I was just like, okay, it's a great film, very well made. I get it. Late After the Devil, something new, something cool, and that always scores points for me if you take a chance on a new franchise or a new property. This is a great horror film.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely.
Loved it. And I can never remember the guy's name. David Dastmalchian.
Yeah.
He's really good in it. You've seen him in other movies like Dark Knight or Ant-Man or Suicide Squad. I
think he also wrote Creature Commandos.
Did he? I have no idea.
I think so.
He is a big comic book fan. That doesn't surprise me.
I know he plays someone in Creature Commandos.
This is basically a found footage type movie with some behind the scenes footage of a 1970s talk show that is losing in the ratings to Carson. So they're going all out with kind of like Jerry Springer type stunts. And they're going to have.
I don't remember Jerry Springer ever getting a demon on set.
Well, the montage at the beginning where they're showing the different stuff he's trying.
Oh yeah,
very Jerry Springer.
That's true. Yeah.
But he's going to do for ratings, their Halloween episode. They're going to do a exorcism on TV, live TV, and all hell breaks loose.
And I think the charm of this movie is there comes a point where you're forgetting that you're watching a movie, and it just is like you're watching a YouTube video of Carson.
Yeah.
Like they just.
I'm a big fan of that YouTube analog horror stuff. Love it. And this is right up that alley. So yeah, this is. I don't usually like scary movies unless they work really well. This one works great. So this is my pick for the year.
Oh, yeah.
I think if I saw it, it'd probably be on my list too as a Heretic. I'm just going to give that throw that out there.
I didn't see that either. That's the one with Hugh Grant, right?
Yeah.
With the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes. I'm really curious about that one. So again, you're probably screaming, why didn't you list this one? I probably just didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I saw, and I'll go ahead and say Sonic 3 would be mentioned as well, but we just saw it. It just came out, and Cameron and I did a review of it last week. So you can just go watch that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, Dune Part 2, I mean, this is... I was not a person whenever the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else, but like I don't think I was alive. I was conscious.
You just weren't old enough to appreciate what was going on.
Yeah. And so I think this is kind of like the closest thing to Return to the King that we've gotten at this point. And I'm with you. I do appreciate original stuff. And the thing is like, I'm not familiar with Dune whatsoever, other than the things that Cameron's told me. And so for me, this kind of is an original thing. I know it's not,
right?
But for me, it's kind of an original thing. And so like I this movie it's so thought provoking, but at the same time it's hilarious. Like Javier Bardem is just so funny in this movie.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Every so often, like we'll just like me and my friends will randomly go, "Isan Al Gaib," or like it's like the fact that he rejects the title proves that he is the one.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing: I get that they're making fun of any religion, whether it be Islam or Christianity. Like I get that this is
extremism out too far. And what's oddly, people who read the book and the movie, they'll miss that point. Like they'll like, oh yeah, he's the hero, yay! Yeah. You're missing the point that oh no, millions and millions are going to die through this jihad that's about to happen.
Which from what I can tell, I think they do a better version. Like they do a better job of it in the movie. Herbert wrote Messiah because people didn't get it.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that Denis Villeneuve changed is I guess like in the books, Chani wasn't really a character.
That and spoilers, she kind of leaves at the end.
Yeah.
She doesn't leave at the end in the book.
Yeah.
She stays by his side. She understands that this is a political marriage that is happening. And
well, and the way that I took it, I don't think that I think she understands in the movie that it's a political marriage. She leaves him because of what he's become.
Yeah.
And so I that's actually because I know Villeneuve wants to do Messiah. And I'm like, well, he made like Herbert made Messiah to do what you did already at the end of the movie. Why do we need Messiah if we already get it?
He would kind of have to combine probably Messiah and Children of Dune. I think it's the next one. Messiah is not that great a story, and so I think if you combine, I don't know. It's tough.
And so we're one step closer to the Godworm.
Yeah, it goes weird, and that's kind of where I stopped reading them, was when the Godworm story ended. I was like, okay.
Apparently that's the place to end from what I've heard.
Yeah. Herbert passed away before he finished the story, and then Kevin Anderson and some of the others
his son picked it up too.
Have been writing the sequels, and there's actually an ending now.
Which I thought that the ending was great for this movie. Like I don't need more after this.
Yeah, and I don't think either of us have watched the TV show.
No. This is my exposure to I haven't seen the old Dune movie.
Yeah, and there's actually a Sci-Fi Channel miniseries that covers more of the books.
Okay.
Children of Dune and all that.
McAvoy's in that.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, and Anya Taylor-Joy is in this too, and she plays a fetus.
Yeah. So those are our picks for our Sharky Awards. We hope you like those. We have big plans for 2025. We haven't really discussed it yet. We'll probably kick off with a preview of the movies coming out 2025 next week. But yeah, we've got big plans for the channel. Please hit the like button if you like this. Share it, subscribe.
And I think we're going to do more. I just enjoy reading.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're going to do more of that.
We're going to definitely have like a book club where we're picking different stories on Marvel Unlimited and the DC subscription service and other stuff like the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. There's stories we're going to be checking out. Plus, we're going to be checking out some of the all-time great movies. I haven't really talked about this with Caleb yet, but probably down the road, we're going to set up something where we can do live reactions to movies.
Okay.
I'll probably get on camera for those. So, like I said, big plans to take this channel even bigger in 2025. But until then, we got to finish 2024. I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And we'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond.
See ya.